Hey, everybody.
Happy Halloween,
Happy,
everyone.
happy Halloween. It is Halloween season. Welcome to Austin Sports Weekend. We're going to talk a little NFL football. First of all, thanks again to SevereTV.com for setting us up here in the studio. Thanks again for Autographs Plus for setting us up with some autographed helmets. We brought our little spooky helmet here, brought a little Ray Lewis Raven with us.
To quote the Raven, nevermore.
And we got a little scary running back here too. We got a little Dylan.
He runs at you so fast, it's frightening.
Yeah, he is. He was something in that. But let's get into some NFL here. Let's get into some NFL football. We need to recap Week 8, and then we'll talk about Week 9. We actually had a really good game this Thursday. We had the Bucks at the Bills.
The Bills played underneath their potential again.
Again, I'm afraid the Bills may not be what the Bills were at this point. Do you sort of feel that way? Maybe 2 years
They
ago,
don't play consistent.
2 years ago, I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl, and ever since they've changed offensive coordinators,
It's been a struggle with consistency yet again.
it's been a little bit of a struggle. They've got all the talent in the world, and I just don't know if Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, is going to pull it together or not. Honestly, if they struggle again this year, I don't even. There's got to be some kind of changes made in the offseason because your players are at their peak right now. So
I guess
now we're saying this as the Bills won. I mean, the Bills won by 6.
but it could have felt like so much more.
It could have, should have felt like so much more, yeah. So we're a little worried about the Bills. The Bucks, they're in a weak division, so they could still come out at the end here and win that division and
Unless
end up being
Todd-
a pretty good team.
You told me about Todd Bowles during the game. Do you
Yeah.
know what happened in this game? Do you know why the Bucks lost? Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles, yeah.
He's probably the main.
He has got one of the best defensive minds in football. He is a fantastic defensive-minded coach.
But as a head coach,
He struggles, and there's been a lot of coaches that way. I've seen a lot of Dave Wannstedt was the defensive coordinator for my Dallas Cowboys back when they won 3 out of 4 years of Super Bowl, and then he went on to try to head coach and just never had it. Just never could get that going. And I've seen a lot of players and a lot of coaches do that, but I just don't think Todd Bowles is going to make it as a head coach. I just don't know. There's just something missing there. Because they've got some pretty good talent still on that team. So, I don't know. Let's jump on up into our Sunday games. Texans at the Panthers.
oh boy, it feels weird to get a win, doesn't it? In this fashion.
Yeah, the Panthers were 0 for, and now they're 1 for.
Well, I guess 1 for 6 is it's not a good average, but it's
They're no longer the worst team in the NFL. Who's the worst team?
Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals are 1 and
7.
7. So,
They're an awful it's not. I'm not going to say franchise, but I'm
No.
going to say team.
they're a bad team right now, and again, I think they might be on the Caleb Williams. I said this from game 1. They're on the Caleb Williams train. They've been on the Caleb Williams train since day 1, and that's what they're trying to go. They're trying to get the first round pick. And
Panthers win on a last-second field goal.
yeah, last second field goal, and then that's not a bad Texas team. That Texas team has been showing some promise. So it's not been the Panthers' defense that's been too bad so far. It's been their offensive line and their wide receivers that were struggling a little bit.
I guess they did just enough. Just
The
enough.
passing game looked decent. Of course, 15-13 is more like a modern day baseball game than it is a football game. But still, though, you got that dub. You are off the snide, and you still got a top 10 pick coming this year, no matter what goes on.
You just gotta some way. I just gotta figure out if we're even gonna have the number 1 pick because we might be beat out by the Cardinals at
Yeah.
the end of the year.
At the end of the year, it doesn't matter because the Panthers have their quarterback, so they don't need the number 1 pick. We were talking the other day. Who do you think you want to get on that team?
Marvin Harrison Jr. But I'm gonna talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. Let's jump on over to my team, the Rams at the Cowboys. The Cowboys look like the old, good, nice Cowboys. I don't know how long this is going to last. They won by 23 over the Rams.
Savor it. Just
I'm
savor
gonna
the
savor it.
taste of this.
I was telling one of my friends, shout out there, Will. They should have saved some of this for next week. They
I
scored
guess-
43 points.
What was the point? Some people say, what was the point of killing the Rams on live television?
I don't know. Maybe they should have stopped at 33-20 and saved that 10 points for next week. But anyways, the Cowboys won. They looked really good. I don't trust them to look that good. I'm a Cowboys fan. I can say that. I don't trust them because,
The Crypt Keeper.
I'm the crypt. Every time I turn my back, I get smacked in the back of the head by them. So I don't want to turn my head again on them. That was a fantastic win, though, and I wish we could look that good every week. CeeDee Lamb was phenomenal in that game. Jump on down to the Patriots at the Dolphins.
The Dolphins have had their way with New England, even in the Brady years.
Yeah, the Dolphins have always been their little bugaboo, their little thorn.
And even after that era, it's still a problem.
Yeah. If the Patriots lost a game during the season, it was normally
To the Dolphins.
To the Dolphins. The Dolphins have always gave the Patriots problems, and now the Patriots came to play though. They came to play this time, and if it wasn't for a couple plays in the game, it would have been a lot closer. It ended up 31-17, but it felt like a lot closer than that through most of the game. Tyreek Hill.
He's well beyond 1,000 yards receiving in 8 games.
His goal was to have 2,000 yards receiving by the end of the season, which is 17 games.
He's got 1,002 games.
He's got 1,008. 1,080
games.
He's got
8 games.
He's got less than halfway through.
He's got halfway.
He's got over 1,000 yards.
Keep going for that goal.
Having 1,000-yard season is a good goal. Not
But he
1,000-yard
achieve-
half season.
He wants to achieve the high mark.
He wants to hit 2,000 yards, and honestly, it's exciting to watch. I almost hope he does get it. It's exciting to see.
He's definitely
somebody
fast
to break
enough.
it. Oh, he's definitely fast enough, and Tua's getting him the ball. That's the only two things you need.
And Mike McDaniel is scheming him open, which is terrifying.
Yeah, that is terrifying. Yeah,
Fitting on Halloween.
yeah, it is. Yeah, we got the Jets at the Giants in one of the.
Ugliest football games I've had the displeasure of watching.
That was a pretty ugly game. Jets at the Giants. Both of them. But honestly, both teams played hard. They're just not fantastic teams right now, so it was an ugly hard. But both teams tried. I mean, they played.
Let me give you
the Giants' young
the
backup
depth
quarterback.
of the offensive ineptitude of this game.
It was pretty
So many punts, so many missed kicks,
bad. It was
so many missed punts. It was
so bad.
agony.
Well, yeah. There was. They said that the punter actually touched the ball more than the quarterback did. That's bad, but yeah.
This was
There
a
was a
double
lot of-
negative for
there
the
was a
Giants.
double
The Giants really should have won.
The
this.
Giants should have won it. They really should have won it. Gave up a 54 yards in 10 seconds or something.
And before that, they were originally going to have a 3-point or like a 6-point lead. All they had to do was kick a chip shot field goal, and he whiffs it.
Yes, it was less than 35 yards. It might have been 32, I think. Yeah, I missed a 32-yard field goal, and that would have put you up by 6.
And let Zach Wilson drive down
the field, 54 yards in 10 seconds, and
kick a game tying
kick
field
a game
goal.
time field goal, and then
later
win it
the game
overtime,
winning.
and then the game winning field goal. Hey, congrats to the Jets, Big Al.
Big Al, your team is 4-3.
4-3. It's just like how I don't know how, but hey, fantastic. And again, the Giants got how many yards to Jalen Hyatt?
0.
How many times have they won without getting him big yards? Okay, just curious if I was right or not.
Why do the Giants even have him on their team if they're not going to give the ball to him?
I don't know. The only wins the Giants have is when he has had over 70 yards receiving.
That's because he's their only vertical threat that can stretch the field.
So if you don't try to stretch the field, you're losing. I mean, it does look like a pattern there, don't it? We got the Jaguars at the Steelers. The Steelers' offense is still
A mess.
a mess. Matt Canada
Is a absolute. Well, he's become a meme for how disinterested he looks.
Yeah, he really
in the
looks
booth.
like he really up in the booth. He looks like he is just monotone. It's just I don't know. His offense is north of the border though, ain't it?
Yeah, it's stuck in Canada,
stuck
and
in
he
Canada.
can't find his way back to Pittsburgh.
And again, the Steelers were minus though.
Minus Kenny Pickett for
Minus
most of the
Kenny
game.
Pickett for most of the game with a
Rib.
rib. So Pickett has really been one of the best players on the team. So
This is a good win for Jacksonville to go 6-2, which is one of their better starts in recent memory.
we did pick Jacksonville to win that division. So just like some of the other ones, they need to start. This is one of the games that they needed to win,
And they got that.
and they got the win in it. We had the Falcons at the Titans. Will who?
Will Levis.
Will Levis. Who
What a
was that?
performance.
Who was that? He didn't look that good at Kentucky, thank goodness. So where did this 4 touchdown? Tannehill had 2 touchdowns the entire year.
And then Will
Levis
Levis
had 2
doubles.
Levis had 2 in the first half. I don't know.
DeAndre
If that's
Hopkins
a
got the
fluke.
football.
DeAndre Hopkins got 3 touchdowns, didn't he?
Yep.
He probably hasn't had a 3 touchdown game in years. Probably since he was with the Texans. Since the last time he had a 3 touchdown game.
It's ridiculous. I know.
But Will Levis, now one thing, Will Levis, we give him props. He looked fantastic. His family was there. It was a great scene, the hugging and everything. But let's see if they can sustain this.
If Will Levis can sustain this play, then he's going to turn from Kentucky Wildcat into both states falling in love with him.
Yeah, he played good enough to where they said, you know what,
Give you another shot.
I think we'll keep Derrick Henry too. I think if he would have went in there and looked terrible, that Henry would have been on the trade block
Early.
He went in there and three or 4 touchdowns. Now, again, he's a young quarterback. There's not a lot of film on him yet to learn how to stop him. So he needs to do this 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Not throw 4 touchdowns a game. That's a little crazy. But he needs to look good for 4, 5, 6 games. And if he looks good, consistent for 4, 5, then the Titans have probably got himself a good quarterback. But we'll find out with time. That's one of those young players we'll find out with time. We had the Vikings at the Packers. Great game for the Vikings, bad game for the Vikings.
Well, it's a good that they got the win, but at what cost?
Yeah,
Big one.
Yeah, they won 24-10 because the Packers were at home and still looked terrible. The Packers are a bad team right now.
Jordan Love just can't throw an accurate football.
No, but Kirk Cousins
His Achilles.
tore his Achilles, and
Ow.
that's 2 Achilles. Normally, Achilles used to be a odd injury to hear. You didn't hear that often, and now we've had 2 starting quarterbacks
Taken out with an Achilles.
taken out with the Achilles. The good thing for
Minnesota is before the trade deadline ended.
before
they
the trade
swooped
deadline,
in.
they swooped in. We haven't talked about this game yet, but we will. They swooped in and took.
Josh Dobbs away from the
Josh
pit
Dobbs.
of misery.
Josh Dobbs was swimming in the Cardinals down there as they were going for the number 1 pick.
And now he's going to
And
a
now
much
he's
more
going-
talented offense.
Now he's going to an offense with Justin Jefferson. I love Justin. Now he's going to maybe one of the best receivers in the country, and a pretty good running back too. A pretty good offensive line, pretty good defense. The Vikings aren't a bad team.
No, absolutely not. They
All of
got
the
talent.
losses that they've had this year have been by
One score.
1 score. Last year they won the 1-score games. This year they'd been losing the 1-score games, but and recently they had been winning. They were back up to 4-4.
This is
So-
definitely a pivotal part of their season, and they wanted to make sure they didn't screw this up. So
Yeah, so they went and got
They-
Josh Dobbs.
Dobbs traded his Cardinal red for some Viking purple.
Yeah, so now he is
Norseman.
he is a Norseman. Skull. So good luck to Dobbs up there
In Minnesota.
In Minnesota. Okay, we had the Saints at the Colts. We called the Saints to upset this one too. They ended
They
up
beat them
winning
pretty
by
good.
11. They beat them 38-27. Kamara
Is a monster.
is a monster. He's as long as
And
he's
Carr
in
got him the
there
ball.
and healthy, he's gonna be their best player. Yeah.
And Carr got the football.
He got the football to him. And then we had one of the most competitive games of the week, but it turns out the Commanders are blowing up their team afterwards.
Yep.
The Eagles at the Washington Commanders, 38-31. The Commanders they squeak. They almost beat Philly every time they play. But the last 2 times they just couldn't get over that. Eagles won 38-31, and afterwards,
A.J. Brown is a monster.
A.J. Brown, he may be the best wide receiver in the league right now. The Titans should never have got rid of him, but that's an old story. But who did the Commanders dump after the game?
They dumped 2 of their defensive linemen.
Some of the best ones in the league.
Montez Sweat to
And-
the Bears and Chase Young to the struggling 49ers. We'll get to them later.
Yeah, but 2 big defensive players
Off their team.
off the team. So the Commanders are
also-
they're dumping salary, dumping some of the players.
And possibly dumping Rivera per sources.
Yeah, the head coach is getting a little grief here too. They may dump in. They may bring Bieniemy, their OC right now. They may promote him up to head coach soon. There's some rumors going around. Nothing in concrete, but I wondered whenever they brought Bieniemy over, was like, hey, is he the head coach in waiting type thing?
And it turns out
And
there's
turns out
been
that might just happen. Yeah. We had the Browns at the Seahawks. This was a very competitive game. The Browns honestly should have won it, but a late interception at the 50-ish yard line.
and the quarterback problems again hurt this team.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And PJ Walker made some mistakes that cost them. In the
He's
end.
a young quarterback, and he made some mistakes. He did. And the Seahawks are still good. They're still leading their division right now over the 49ers.
which, yeah,
Which is weird.
that's very bizarre.
But congrats to it is hard to go to Seattle and win at Seattle. But the
Especially
Browns
with-
probably should have, but they let it slip away.
They let that last possession, that last minute was where it all slipped away.
They lost the game in the last 2 minutes of the game. They had it in their hands and then lost it. We had the Ravens at the Cardinals. The Ravens again won by 7. The Cardinals really lacking a lot of talent. Dobbs was struggling a little bit too.
He was struggling
he
with some
threw a couple
interceptions.
picks. So
He was struggling with interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was his fault, I would disappointingly say, but
Yeah.
another probably wasn't.
You know, he does say there's not a lot of talent on that team, and honestly, like I said, this team was built to lose and not built to win. It was built for. I still say they're going for the Caleb Williams at the end of the year. So
Ravens are 6-2.
they still scored 24.
Yep.
So
Ravens are 6-2.
6-2 Ravens. The Ravens could be dangerous.
Yeah.
They're one of those teams that could be dangerous at the end of the year.
So what are the Cardinals going to do with Clayton Tune? Pretty much not the same note.
I say they're going to be 1-16, 2-15. That's what they're going to do.
Jeez.
They're going to lose. We had the Chiefs at the Broncos for the shocker of the week. The Broncos dominated,
This game.
and I mean dominated, 24-9. I would not have picked it. I don't think anybody would have picked it.
But this is probably their worst performance in the
Yeah.
Mahomes era, probably.
The only thing that I could see different in this game than the last few games is Taylor Swift wasn't there.
Is that why they played this bad?
I don't know, but they looked bad. They looked bad. Congrats to the Broncos. Congrats to Wilson. Honestly, they needed that win. Maybe people will shut up a little bit now. Maybe, probably not, but they needed that win. We had the Bengals at the 49ers.
This feels like a coming of age party for the Bengals.
We called it. We called it just as soon as the Bengals get healthy, they're going to look scary.
And they frightened the 49ers.
31-17 and San Fran.
Only one sack from their allowed by the Bengals. Joe Burrow had only 4 incompletions the whole game.
And he ran. When there was an opening, when there was trouble, he ran. There was no injury in that calf, that leg. There was nothing.
And the 49ers defense got uncharacteristically carved up
They
like a
got
pumpkin.
It said that's why they traded for Chase Young.
Because they needed
They
help.
need some more help. So now they got Bosa and Young. I wouldn't want to. I still wouldn't want to play the 49ers. If they get healthy, they need Deebo Samuel.
They need him back. Bad.
Deebo Samuel must be the heartbeat of that team because without it, they look dead. They needed Deebo back
Brock
badly.
Purdy has struggled with turnovers too. I mean, they kind of
I
look
said,
uncharacteristically.
Deebo must be the heart. He has to be the heartbeat of that team. Whatever the man is, give him the money and get him in there, get him healthy, whatever it is, because Deebo Samuel is the heartbeat of that team. And then last but not least, the last game on Sunday.
Last but least.
And last but least, Bears Chargers. The Chargers won 30-13. We knew that would happen too. The Chargers are not a good team, but the Bears are
Not good at all.
bad at all. They're pretty bad. And
But
then
do you know what's uncharacteristic though?
what?
Brandon Staley beat the same team by 18. Josh McDaniels. I don't know. That's just been what I've used to calling him.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels lost to the same Bears team by 18.
Yeah, it's worth a 36-point swing. Speaking of the Raiders, we had the Raiders at the Lions.
The Raiders'
Monday night.
offense looks absolutely awful.
They look terrible. How many catches did the best receiver in football have?
Devontae Adams got one catch.
One catch for 11 yards. How could you do?
I could count that much on my fingers and toes
Hunter Renfrow just might as well not be on the team.
because apparently
they don't play him.
they
He
don't
ain't-
play
he
him
ain't-
out there.
He ain't good enough to play.
And
The Lions won by 12, and honestly, they should have won by more. The Lions still struggled a little bit.
they slept walk through this game and still won by
They still
double
won
digits.
by 12. Yeah, they slept walk through beating the Raiders by 12.
Let me tell you how
The
many.
Raiders, honestly, maybe.
Let me tell you how many yards they were outgained by, to show you how bad this was.
How bad was it?
The Lions got 432 yards. That's good.
That's respectable.
And the Raiders got 167 through 4 quarters.
That should be that's bad for a half.
But they got a whole football game worth of that.
That is bad. The Cardinals are trying to lose. The Raiders are trying to win, and they both look equally bad.
I bet you the Cardinals would beat the Raiders right now.
I don't know, but they might be. The Raiders might beat them. The Raiders will probably have to beat themselves. All right, let's jump on into our Week 9 games. We've actually got a pretty good game this Thursday night too. We got the Titans at the Steelers. Will Levis, it looks like he might be starting again.
Against the Steelers. All right,
Against the
can he
Steelers.
prove himself against a decent opponent?
I don't know. The Steelers are favored by 3 because they're at home, so this is basically an even game as far as talent goes. So who do you think wins? You think the Titans go into Steelers and win, or do you think the Steelers?
Oh my gosh. I can't trust Matt Canada.
But
But it's Mike Tomlin. That's what's conflicted.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin, and the Steelers are at home coming off of a loss.
I might pick Pittsburgh, but by 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll take Pittsburgh busting even on this one here. Let's jump into our Sunday games. We'll talk about our 2 teams first. We got the Colts at the Panthers.
This is a defense that I think we should move the ball against.
Yes, Indy is favored by 2.5. I'm gonna take the Panthers again. I took the Panthers last week. I told you the Panthers were gonna beat.
You're
the
going to
Texans.
screw over our draft positioning.
Yeah, no, we don't know. So you're at the point now. You're like, I don't want to lose Marvin Harrison Jr. We don't need to win another one.
I just wanted one win.
Just one win, just get me off the 0, and then we're good from there. Honestly, I think the Panthers should win it. The Indy's favored by 2.5. Oh, and here's probably the game of the week. My Cowboys at the Eagles.
Why is it this on Sunday night?
I don't know. This is a 4:25 game. I don't know why it's not a late game or a Monday night game or a Sunday night. I don't know. But we got the Cowboys, Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 3. They're at home again, so they're thinking these teams are pretty evenly matched. I don't trust the Cowboys, so I'm probably going to take the Eagles.
The
at
Eagles
home.
do score a lot of points.
They find a way to win. They always do. So we'll take Eagles -3. I would love it if my Cowboys win. I'm not saying that I don't love my team, but realistically, the Cowboys don't normally put up 2 good games back to back.
Yeah.
And they destroyed the Rams last week. So they scored 43 last time. They'll score 13 this time. We have a Frankfurt game. Our first game of the day is actually in Germany.
Dolphins Chiefs. That's a fantastic matchup.
Is that not a fantastic matchup? No,
There's the only
it's over in Germany.
It's only over in Germany, and it comes on at 9:30.
9:30 a.m. in the morning. So get up early to watch that one. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5. This is going to be a fantastic. Honestly, I wish this game was back in the States because the travel is going to change this game. There's no way that it's not going to. Both teams are going to be lagging behind. Something's going to be. They're not. Neither one of these teams are going to play up to their full potential because they're going to Germany. It's sort of okay when you've got a Cardinals Bucks game over there because it's not
As highly sought after.
But man, this Dolphins Chiefs game, this honestly should have been the Sunday night game, not the 9:30 in the morning game. The Chiefs, I don't think lose 2 in a row, so I'm probably take the
Take
Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Yeah, but honestly, with it being over there, in Germany, I don't know. This game could go either way when it comes to that travel. We got the Seahawks Ravens.
That's a really good matchup.
I'm probably going to take the Ravens because the Ravens are at home.
And the Ravens are built well. What else is the Ravens built on?
The Seahawks are struggling a little bit with the run, and boy, is this a running team they're playing now.
Yep.
So the Ravens are -5.5.
What have the Ravens historically been good at?
D? They have the best D right now, I think, too. So I think the Seahawks at Baltimore will struggle a little bit. Line's 5.5. I'm comfortable with that. We got the Cardinals at the Browns.
This is a sure bet Cleveland's victory.
Browns. Yeah, this one's.
Miles
that
Garrett
one's
will
pretty
be
easy.
all over that poor quarterback that comes in.
Yep, he's better. He better run for his life because it's definitely coming. We got the Buccaneers at the Texans. This one's a toss up to me.
All right, I might pick the Texans.
I probably will too, just because they're coming off of a loss back
And they're at home.
Back at home, they're favored by 2.5, so I'm pretty comfortable with that too. We got the Bears at the Saints. I think the Saints.
The
again,
Saints will cover that spread and go over 500.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to cover that. 7.5. We got the Vikings, Falcons. I'm probably
That's a toss-up too.
The Falcons have been playing good, but not great lately. The Vikings are going to come in with I'm going to take the Vikings with Josh Dobbs, to be honest, because of the unknown. The Falcons have no clue
What they want to be.
what they want to be, and they have no clue what the Vikings are going to be. They've never seen this team before. Nobody's seen this team with this quarterback on it. How do you game plan against a team you've never played before?
Yeah,
And
that's
you have
that's hard to figure out.
So just in that fact, the Atlanta's favored by 5, so I'm taking the Vikings plus 5. We got the Rams, Packers.
I'm gonna pick the Rams because the Packers have been playing so bad lately.
Green Bay's at home, favored by 3. I'm with the upset there too. We got the Commanders, Patriots. I'm going Patriots because the Commanders are in dump mode.
Yeah, they're dumping off stuff.
So there's going to be a lot of, well, this season's over in the locker room thought in my book there. We got the Giants, Raiders. Man, 2-6 versus 3-5.
I've got the Giants
I think I've got the upset
because
there
Josh
too.
McDaniels
He'll
is
find
their
a
head
way to
coach.
lose.
He'll find a way to lose.
it. Yeah. And then when we have our Sunday night game, I guess this is okay for a Sunday night game. I would still rather have the Dolphins, Chiefs, but Bills-Bengals ain't bad.
Bills-Bengals.
Bills-Bengals is not a bad game. It's not a bad game.
I might pick
I think
Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is going on their stride, and they're at home.
I think they should have flexed one of these games to Monday night, though, because the Monday night game is
Chargers, Jets.
terrible. Yeah, I'm honestly with you. I'm going to go Bengals, too. Cincinnati's favored by 2.5.
They're hitting
at
their
home.
stride,
They
and
are
they're
hitting
at
their stride.
home.
And they're at home, yeah. And Bills are struggling, bouncing up and down, so I think the Bengals take this one also. And then Monday night, we got the Chargers, Jets.
I'm going to pick the Jets.
I'm going to pick the Jets, too.
L
I've got another upset there.
Jets 5-3.
The Jets are finding a way to win. And the Chargers normally find a way to lose. So that just works out good there. All right, that's it. That is NFL football for week 8 and week 9. Week 9, the one that we're about to jump into. It's already week 9 out of.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It's
That's
already
nuts.
passing. Thanks again for sitting in here with us, checking us out. Be sure to subscribe to us. Throw a little heart, throw a little like, share us with your friends out there somewhere. And again, thanks again to SevereTV.com for setting us up. Thanks again to Autographs Plus for setting us up with a couple autograph helmets here. And we'll see you next week for more NFL football.
See you next week.